Buenas tardes. Estamos esta noche conversando con el profesor Pettit de Princeton University y estamos esta tarde, tenemos el grato placer de estar con él. Y aquí también tenemos a Elmer Arce, nuestro secretario nacional de doctrina. Y esta noche tenemos la oportunidad de tener una conversación con el profesor Pettit, que muchos de ustedes deben estar familiarizados con su libro, pero si no, esta es una de las razones por qué estamos aquí en esta conversación. Voy a parar aquí. I'm going to stop right there because then we can all put it together. So, voy a hacer la introducción. Okay, I'm going to do the introduction, Philip, now.
Very good.
Okay, so as far as Professor Pettit, as far as the current situation in Peru, Latin American regions live a very complex political phenomenon called populism, in which such determined political doctrines, especially the left, takes power. And from this, the left launches constitutional changes to perpetuate this, which in the long run, they become dictatorships. This is a severe problem and has turned in the last decades into a pattern of political parties. We, as the Purple Party, we intend to fight this phenomenon with all the citizens through political training and teaching to the citizens. We consider Republicanism as the political doctrine and to be part of the answer. So with this, Philip, I really thank you so much again for your time. And there are some questions that we want to have as part of this dialogue.
Sure.
And I'll start with the first question. What are those principles and or foundations of Republicanism, if you can share with us in a way, that could sound basic, but a good foundation that we can learn from?
I think the foundation really is an image of the free person, where the free person is someone who has a social status. This status has got two sides to it. One is a personal side, that in your personal life, you should be secure enough, obviously, socially, economically, but also secure under the law against abuse by others within the range of your personal choices, that you should be your own man or your own woman. I mean, that's really the core idea of personal security. And you're not free just because, for example, no one happens to be interfering with you. You've got to be secure and protected against that interference. So that's personal security. I'd say that's, a first principle. The second principle is what you might call public security. That is to say that you are not a plaything of government. You're not exposed to abuse on the part of government. Government operates as a role. It has to operate in laying down the law, in applying the law, but there have to be checks against what government can do in your personal life if you're not going to be, as we say, dominated by government. So the core idea really is not domination. Dominación in Spanish. And the idea is that you're free personally or publicly only insofar as you have enough security, personal and public, in order not to be dominated, not to have a master or a dominus in your life, either a private dominus, in your private life, in your work life, in your home life, in your community. You have to be protected against anyone who would assume the position of a master or a dominus in your life. And then in your public life, you have to be equally with other citizens related to government in such a way that you are not the servant of government. Government, rather, is controlled in such a way that it doesn't dominate you. It's not the big dominus, so to speak, in your life or in the life of other citizens. So non-domination is really the key idea that sums up the the approach. But I like to say in the tradition, there's a test of whether or not people are enjoying non-domination, no domination. And the test is what I like to call the eyeball test. Now, this is not my invention. I think this goes back hundreds of years in the Republican tradition. And the idea is that, are you secure enough personally and politically? Are you a free person in that sense, not having to live under the thumb or the power of another? The answer is, you're going to be ideally free in those respects, just in case you can look others in the eye without reason for fear or for deference. There may be differences of wealth, there may be differences of influence, there may be differences of culture, but you are your own person, your own man or woman, in the sense that you don't have to bend the knee to anyone. You don't have to, kowtow. You don't have to fawn or toady or seek their indulgence. You can look them in the eye without a reason for fear or deference that's based on any special power they might have in your life. You don't have to, in that sense, you can look in the eye any other private individual, your personal security, but you can equally look in the eye anyone who represents government, knowing that you are secure also with other citizens against government abuse or government intrusion in your life. Those, I think, are the core ideas. So freedom as security or non-domination. You've got no dominus who hovers over you, so to speak. And the test of whether you've got enough security is that you can look others in the eye without reason for fear or deference. You can walk tall, stand tall, hold your head up, as it's often said.